Now, a Filipina freelance writer has come out on X to say an NYC-based multinational financial and business website, Business Insider, allegedly stole her pitch. Filipina writer Angel Martinez's explosive revelation blew up on X with over 182,000 likes and 8.4 million views. Now, the editor has released a statement in response explaining that Insider has already been working on the exact same story prior to Angel's rejected pitch. Filipina writer Angel Martinez joins us via Zoom to tell us more about it. Good morning. It's a beautiful day, Angel. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Carrie Bradshaw's backdrop.
Good morning to both of you, and thanks for having me again.
All right, so Angel, let's focus first on the timeline of events here. You did post on X with the dates clearly marked there, by the way. Let's talk about first the pitch and you actually trying to push the story. I'm assuming they're not the only group that you did pitch to when it comes to this story. But can you tell us what happened and how you found out about it, especially when their version of the article did come out?
Sure thing. So this all happened last February 4th. I pitched an idea to Business Insider's features desk about what I dubbed as the Great Gen Z Golf Revival, which was inspired by my most recent trip to the States, where my cousin took me to a driving range for the very first time. And I just noticed that the place was teeming with young people. So it led me to wonder, what was convincing all of us to give our dad's favorite sport a shot. And I did some research about it, and I distinctly remember feeling very confident when I sent it to Grace DeGraff, the section editor at the time. So Insider was actually my priority publication. I wanted to land a feature with them. So they got first dibs on my idea. And the next day, she rejected me because it wasn't the right fit for their team. And I felt sad, but I moved on and I completely forgot about it until 3 days ago. I pitched another idea to Grace, but my email bounced because she apparently left Business Insider already. But in her message, she said that I could always reach out to her on Twitter if I wanted to keep in touch. So I clicked on her account because I wanted to wish her well. So you could just imagine the shock that I felt when the first post that I saw on her account was a thread promoting the article that she essentially stole from me. So last April, Business Insider apparently ran a full-length piece about Gen Z's obsession with old money sports like golf, which was more than enough time since I emailed. And the article that Grace assigned to a freelance writer even cited points that I included in my pitch to her. So I was a mix of emotions. I was upset, angry, disappointed, and sad. And I took it to X, and I guess the rest is history.
Angel, how did Business Insider respond to this matter? Did they reach out to you aside from the editor statement on X? I know Grace DeGraff also posted a statement replying to you, right? That we'll talk about that in a bit. But what did Business Insider do?
Business Insider as a publication did not reach out to me. It really was just Grace's Notes app apology under my tweet that I saw.
Well, you mentioned the Grace having a reply here. Let's talk a bit about that. Obviously, you did reach out to her, and she did message you. Did you have a prior relationship before this pitch in particular? And of course, what do you have to say about her own reply as well?
I had already reached out to Grace twice with other pitches, which she had not pushed through with. But there was already a prior correspondence, right?
Yeah.
So in her tweet, she did say that there was already a similar story in the works when I had pitched, as is the case when a good idea's time has come. She was just not at liberty to tell me, so she sent me what she called a boilerplate rejection note, which is weird because in the past, I have pitched ideas to editors about timely and trendy topics. So I know that the appropriate response is a rejection along the lines of, sorry, but we already have something similar in the pipeline. So all of this just feels like, a very convenient excuse from her to continue doing stuff like this in the future.
Well, you know what? Sorry, we take a look at this matter here and the fact that it has garnered so much engagement, a lot of views, and a lot of sympathy here. What does that say, in your opinion, to the whole freelance culture here of trying to make it with certain publications, trying to work with certain companies in particular? What do you feel it says about the whole freelance culture that we have, especially now that the quote-unquote gig economy has become sort of a thing here for the younger generations?
Yeah. I was initially very shocked that it had garnered this much attention because the amount of support I've gotten from complete strangers was overwhelming. And although my heart feels full, it's kind of depressing that it seems to have gone so viral because this is something that happens to every kind of creative in some shape or form, especially if they're part of the freelance culture, as you mentioned.
Right.
Because a lot of people were sharing to me that equally esteemed international publications have also run their work or their pitches in the past without giving them any kind of credit, but they couldn't even speak out about it in fear of backlash, like in fear of losing future opportunities. So I guess that's just something that's a responsibility that I didn't expect to have to take with this post, that like seeing me stand up for myself kind of imbued other people with a sense of pride because it's something that they wanted to do for themselves in the past and yet they couldn't afford to. So
When you look at the comments, you even see some freelancers posting about their own experiences, right? Like giving pitches, and I saw one providing videos and then not getting compensated for it. And this has been a problem. Freelancers often pitch talaga, and their ideas don't get guarantee that it will be published or if they get compensated for it. In light of your experience, how can freelancers protect yung intellectual property nila? And what changes would you advocate for in the industry to safeguard original ideas?
right. This is going to sound like a political campaign slogan, but one thing I would like everyone to take away from this is to not give up the fight when you know you're in the right. Because, like I've had a small percentage of haters, like trying to gaslight me, trying to discount my experience and mansplain the concept of freelance journalism to me. And I know in my heart that what was done to me was wrong and that what I felt as a result was valid.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell everyone, I guess, is just because we're up against prestigious publications from first world countries doesn't mean that we should cower in fear when our ideas are so obviously being copied. There is power in voicing your concerns, in holding people in power accountable, because it's only when we refuse to let those who work in journalism get away with unfair and exploitative practices like this that we can even begin to demand better treatment for the industry as a whole.
This tweet happened, this post on X happened, I believe, 2 days ago. And I think, I don't know, is it safe to say that it has changed a bit of your perspective on this entire process, this entire quote unquote probably rat race some people are trying to go through, especially when it comes to trying to make it as a freelancer? Because you have elicited a lot of sympathy. You mentioned there are also a few haters, but do you feel that that has already changed the way that you approach this particular job, especially the whole freelancing part of this of your life in general?
I've definitely been a victim of like minor instances of plagiarism in the past. So this whole thing isn't completely new to me. Like, yeah, I've had like fellow writers, copy my column of the week. These are people I follow and considered as friends. So I know that the industry can get a little bit sleazy at times. But this is the first time that something this blatant and this shameless has ever happened to me. I don't think it would change my approach to the profession in general. Like, I love my work. I want to keep sharing my ideas, and I still would like to afford my lifestyle. So I will continue charging on. It's just that now, I guess, given the attention that my tweet has gotten, I hope it teaches me and everyone else to just look out for themselves also, while putting out your ideas into the world.
Has this changed your life? It's been 2 days, but has it changed your life already?
I wouldn't really say it's changed my life. Although the online attention is quite overwhelming. This is the first time
Right,
I've ever
right.
gone this viral. I'd like to think maybe this is my Carrie Bradshaw moment. I wonder.
I
Love the
believe
background.
it is. Yeah, the
Yeah.
background is really just perfect. So, Angel, what further actions are you going to take now?
I've had a lot of people telling me that I should sue or that I should look into legal action.
Okay.
But I guess I'm not yet well versed in that aspect. And Business Insider hasn't even reached out to me, so I don't really know where to go from here, aside from spreading awareness that this is something that happens in the industry, and that it's something that we should speak out against when it happens to us.
Angel, we're running out of time, but I'm curious kasi we're talking about plagiarism, and there's idea theft, and there's also parang word for word copying, right? How do you define what goes under that umbrella, plagiarism?
Well, I do have a lot of people on the internet asking why I expect the article to go to me when I only sent like a one sentence pitch. This is a very common misconception. That was a cropped screenshot because I wanted everyone to focus on the most important part of the email.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
sent paragraphs worth of information. And as I mentioned, a lot of the points that I put in my initial pitch made it to the final article. So it's that, and the fact that she rejected me and said it wasn't a right fit, and then ended up running a story about the exact same thing, that kind of just makes this entire situation so inexcusable. Like, I simply could not let her get away with it, which is why I had to take it to such a public platform.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I personally forgot. It's a good thing Anne brought it up. Personally forgot to bring up because no one pitches with just one sentence on an email, and
Right.
just so people have an idea in terms of the length, not necessarily content. How much information did you send Business Insider to be able to say that okay, you feel like you have the confidence and that to be able to make the allegations that you have.
Right. So, one thing a lot of people apparently don't know is there's much unpaid labor that goes into the pitching process. I had to pull up statistics, look into trend reports, scan posts on social media, and then kind of condense that into 2 to 3 paragraphs, while also proving that I was the right person to write the article. That entire personal experience about my recent trip to the States, I included that in my pitch too, just to prove to Grace that, hey, I know what I'm talking about and I'm the girl for the job. Which is why when I read the piece and I just saw so many things that I had pitched to her, I was like, this is it. Like, this is without a doubt, like, thievery. So, yeah.
Angel, we really appreciate you being here and sharing us your story. And of course, I know the post on X is just 2 days old, and this could still develop further in the future. So we're going to keep our eyes on that, and hopefully we can talk to you again soon if more developments do happen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. She's a Filipina freelance writer, Angel Martinez. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.